He had just promised his girlfriend he'd be back soon, never expecting that the next morning he'd be stranded on a deserted island. At that moment Gump stared blankly at the pocket watch she gave him, still in shock from the terrifying crash the night before. He vaguely remembered washing his face in the restroom when suddenly a crew member rushed over with an oxygen mask. They told him the plane had a critical failure and needed to make an emergency landing in the ocean. The crew helped him back to his seat, handed him a life raft and life jacket, and reminded him to stay buckled and still. As soon as the crew left, he noticed the pocket watch had fallen. He glanced at the life jacket, then at the watch, and without hesitation unbuckled and crawled through the chaos to retrieve it. Just then the plane dropped violently and cargo flew in every direction. Before he could react, the plane had already crashed into the sea. A massive surge of seawater rushed in, tearing through the cabin and sweeping Gump into the ocean. He quickly pulled the release on the life raft and it inflated, carrying him toward the surface. But the emergency bag got snagged on the wreckage. The heavy debris dragged him downward into the deep. Just as things turned dire, the strap snapped from the pressure. The raft's strong buoyancy yanked Gump back toward the surface. When he regained consciousness, he had washed up on the shore of a desolate island. It was that pocket watch that saved him. Because he wasn't restrained by the seatbelt, he wasn't pulled down with the wreckage. Packages scattered along the beach caught his attention. They were the cargo he had been transporting. He gathered them and placed them beside the raft. Then he began calling out in hopes of finding any other survivors. But only crashing waves answered him. This was his first time facing such a disaster. Years of urban life hadn't prepared him for this. He slumped down at the shoreline and waited for rescue until dusk. But no help came. Only the roar of the ocean. Exhausted, he dozed off in the raft. The island's night was eerily silent. Suddenly Gump was jolted awake by a strange noise. Sleep vanished as he stared into the pitch-black woods on edge. The sporadic sounds kept his nerves on high alert, and so he stayed awake the entire night. The next morning more plane packages washed ashore. As Gump collected them, the strange noise returned. What is that? The sudden sound made him tense again, but there was no response. On a deserted island, any unexplained noise is unsettling. He wasn't brave enough to check it out right away. Instead, he kept sorting through the packages. Then the noise came again. Driven by curiosity, Gump cautiously investigated, and finally discovered the culprit. It was just a coconut falling from a tree. Relieved, he set about gathering more coconuts. But the tough shells were impossible to crack. Neither banging nor smashing worked. Luckily, a broken rock gave him an edge. He used a sharp stone to peel the outer husk, then pierced a small hole using the tip. Finally, he tasted the sweet coconut water. Now that the mystery was solved, Gump could begin exploring the island. He stumbled upon a dark cave. Due to copyright restrictions, this movie can only take you this far. The name of this movie is Cast Away.